I hereby name you. So got the 392 a few days ago, and every Jeep needs a name. So let's take the Rubicon decals off and give it one.
Let's do it.
Label does leave some residue, so this stuff works really well. It's goof off, and they have this in their Sol can. So just that with a microfiber cloth, just going to take up my time and get all this off. So with the residue off, just need to clean off the surface, get rid of all the oils, and make sure it doesn't get in the way of putting on the new name.
So I've been voluntold to put on the decal since I've done this a couple times. I have videos of that I'll link to up above. So now that we've had this cleaned, I use a solution that came with one of mine. It's just a simple, I don't know if it's just water and soap, but if you don't have a solution, you can just use a water and soap. But this is obviously going to be a wet application. So in order to do that, just removing the backing completely. And we've already kind of marked off the center that I'm going to line it up to. And then for the bottom, I just need to line up the paper with the edge of the hood. Once you have it fully exposed, just spray it down, get it nice and wet. Then we're going to spray down the surface that we're working on. That will allow us to put it down and move it around. So do you want to come and get the my hand here lining it up how you want it exactly?
So the bottom of the paper should line up with
Okay, so you can, it'll stick a bit, but it will slide around pretty easily. So just kind of start shifting it. You can peel it, you can just lift it off.
So in theory, it should line up with the bottom of the hood here.
So what we're going to do is once we do that, now we want to squeegee out the liquid and get rid of the air bubbles, as many as we can. Now it's somewhat hard to see because you have this top piece, but we're going to do the best that we can in the blind and then try to work some of it out after removing the top layer. Just pretty moderate pressure and get it from all directions to minimize the bubbles that we have. All right, so now what we have to do is let it dry, because if we go to peel off the top layer right now, because it's a wet application, the decal will come off with it, so we have to give it some drying time. The key here is to go slow and apply a lot of pressure, and as you saw, I went back and forth many times. You're trying to work as many air bubbles out. The nice thing about doing the wet application is that it allows us to line it up straight and not have the decal fold in on itself. So that'll be straight. The question is how many air bubbles are still underneath. There will be some. Maybe, if you're a seasoned pro, you can get away with none, but, in my experience of doing it, there will be some bubbles there. So we're going to try to find a sweet spot to remove the top layer where it's dry enough, where it's not going to peel the decal off, yet still somewhat flexible where we can work out some of the larger air bubbles if there are any. But we're going to occasionally come back and try to lift off and see if it lifts off the decal. And once we can safely lift this off when leaving the decal on the Jeep is when we're going to peel this off and work out the remaining air bubbles. So we'll be back.
I hereby name you Gold Rush.